Okay, I'm doing a little video of showing how I put all these things from the article together in practice. So this is a game I played, a blitz game recently, where I was white. Um, so in this position, I played rook e1. So I was thinking, my bishop is lined up with these pieces on the long diagonal. I wanted to play e4 to open that. So I wanted to get my rook off this diagonal. But in reviewing the game, I noticed that this caused the evaluation to drop for me. So right now it's plus zero point 0.8, almost a pawn up, and it goes down to -2 after this move, like indicating this is a fairly serious mistake. By the way, I like to Lichess and chess.com has something similar of this thing down here, where you can request a computer analysis, and it sort of does the whole game in one go and highlights mistakes. That can work okay, but I found I prefer to like click through myself through the game with the engine on. In this way, I'm driving the process, which I find works better for me. Okay, so this move I notice I play rook e1. It doesn't like that, and it's actually the computer is saying a3 is the top line by a fairly wide margin. This is plus 0.8. All the other lines are at best equal for white. So when I first saw this, I thought this move a3, it seems like sort of a nothing move, just this pawn move on the side of the board. But the fact that it's the best move, if it was just sort of a random waiting move, then you would expect to see many options with similar value, but it really prefers this move. So then your job is to figure out why is that. So you can actually already see it in the line here. Actually, Lichess has a nice feature that if you hover over this, but let's say we didn't see that, or maybe it wasn't clear. A good starting place is just to make the move on the board, and this would be a good use of the show threat tool, which you can do on Lichess by clicking this sort of target icon, or also by pressing X on the keyboard. So we can see, and basically what this does is it's going to say, if white can move again right away without black moving, what would be the best move? So here we see b4, and now actually white would have a huge advantage. So now already I'm starting to get a lot of insight from this b4, and I notice, okay, the threat then is b5, and this bishop's going to be trapped. It has no retreat. So okay, there's a very concrete, specific plan associated with a3. It prepares b4, which was necessary, of course, because that was protected. If we played b4 straight away in the starting position, black would just have taken it with the bishop. So a3, but even, maybe if this wasn't showing up or this wasn't clear, another thing you can do here is it's a good idea to play against the engine from the other side. So let me show you what I mean by that. So first of all, I can hide the engine analysis. So clicking this down here will hide that. And what I find is helpful is actually playing from the other side. So I was white in this game, but I can play as black against the engine. So for instance, okay, we already put a3 on the board, so my thought would be maybe knight d7, just a natural developing move, getting the knight out. And I'm going to have the computer play as white, so I'll wait for a few seconds, and now I'm going to press spacebar, and that's going to cause the computer to make its top move. Okay, so maybe I still am not seeing it, so I'm like, okay, I'll just bring this rook into the game. And then I would wait a few seconds, press spacebar again. And probably now I notice my bishop is trapped, right? And I could go back and look at the evaluation, and it's +4. It's winning for white. And then what you can even do is it can be helpful to play this out a few times. So I can try different things for black. Like, for instance, maybe okay, well, I want to get my queen out of the way. So let's try queen c8. Knight takes d5. You can repeat that process multiple times to see, really get a better understanding of what's going on in the position. And so following on from there, maybe I go a3. So we could say, okay, knight d7 is the top move, b4, and so it turns out it looks like black's best move is actually just to to block this with b5, which is quite ugly since it locks the bishop in. So we can see that this a3 b4 plan was very successful. Actually, the reason I played rook e1 in the first place was to get off the diagonal of this bishop. But with this maneuver, I could have forced black rather to block it themselves in a way that's much more favorable for me. Now in this position, I have lots of good options. I can swing the knight around. I can play for e4, but clearly this b5 is a huge strategic concession that black was forced to make. So basically, with just at most a few minutes of playing around with this, not only did I understand the purpose behind a3, but I kind of learned this whole new plan. And this is like a very typical structure from the Catalan, which I play all the time. And I wasn't this a3 and b4 queenside expansion plan wasn't really on my radar. So now I have a plan that I can use. And even sort of what's helpful for me is to have a trigger. Like when I see a certain thing, I go for a certain plan. So the trigger would be this queen and bishop like this, where the bishop is trapped. So in the future, I'll know if I see that pattern, okay, a3, b4, b5 is likely a very powerful plan. So that's sort of a quick demonstration of how I would use these techniques.